At the edge of a quiet mountain slope, where dawn painted the valley in soft gold, a tall pine tree stood like a proud sentinel. And every morning, without fail, a gentle breeze would drift up the hillside and brush past its needles with a whisper. But the pine scoffed. "Is that all you can manage?" it rumbled, trunk creaking with smugness. "A weak little sigh? I am a mountain tree, a pillar of strength. You barely make me sway." The breeze only chuckled, soft as a lullaby. "Strength isn't always loud," it murmured. "Sometimes it's simply steady." But the pine waved its branches dismissively. What could a breeze know about strength? He had roots gripping stone. He had survived winters colder than silence. He had stood here long before this breeze ever learned to drift. Yet the breeze kept visiting, morning after morning, never arguing, never pushing back, simply brushing gently against the pine as if reminding it that softness had its place. Then came the night when everything changed. The sky cracked open with thunder so sharp the mountains seemed to flinch. Winds howled like a beast unchained, violent and wild, dragging clouds in frantic circles. The pine, tall and certain, braced itself. "I was born for storms," it told the darkness. But when the first blast struck, the pine felt its trunk wrench sideways. Another came, and another. This was no gentle breeze. This was a force that clawed at its branches, tearing needles free and hurling them into the night. The pine strained, roots trembling, bark splitting in sharp, painful lines. "Stand firm," it told itself. "You are strong. You do not bend." But the wind only grew stronger, twisting, snapping, pulling, unyielding, merciless. Then from somewhere within the roaring chaos, a familiar voice. Soft, calm, almost impossible to hear beneath the storm's rage. "Pine, breathe with me." It was the breeze, but gentler and steady and here. The pine, desperate and frightened for the first time in its life, loosened its rigid stance just a fraction, allowed itself, not to break, but to bend. The breeze guided it, showing how to move with the wind instead of against it, and slowly, inch by trembling inch, the pine stopped fighting and began swaying. Not stiff, not stubborn, but flexible, resilient, alive. By dawn, the storm had vanished, leaving only quiet air and scattered needles across the mountainside. The pine stood battered but unbroken, and when the breeze returned, soft as always, the pine lowered its branches in gratitude. "I mocked you," it whispered, "but it was your gentleness that saved me." The breeze curled around its trunk like a warm ribbon of morning light. "Even stone breaks when it refuses to move," it said, "but something that bends endures." The pine looked over the valley, wiser now, and understood a truth it would never forget. Strength doesn't always roar. Sometimes it arrives quietly and teaches you how to survive. If you enjoyed this story, please like, share, and subscribe to help the channel grow.